Our mobile banking app is changing the way we bank. Things are getting easier, transactions are getting safer, and you have access 24/7. All the functionality of banking you're used to, made easier to use, anywhere, anytime, and more secure than ever. Simple, seamless, safe. Download our mobile app today.
And good evening, everyone, and welcome out to the Pelican Sports Report. And I am joined tonight by the Eagles head coach, Coach David Perkins. And Coach, if our pregame talk or our pre-show talk is half of what our normal interview is going to be, it's going to be a lot of fun tonight. Coach, welcome to the show.
Oh, appreciate that. That was a nice little talk we had there before we got on air. And those things and those points that we cover, we can surely do and entertain this crowd tonight.
Look, absolutely. I don't know if there's a more spirited interview that we'll have on here. I went back and watched some of your Eagles notes or your Eagles news that you do there, and at that point it's Coach Davey P and all of that. So we're gonna go where the night takes us. But tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, well, we do a little show here. It's called the Eagles Nest. I host it along with our assistant principal, Miss Laura Davis, and we just talk about all things Eagles, not necessarily athletics. We bring in all of our clubs, we bring in some of our students, we bring in some teachers, and we bring in just about anybody who is associated with Holy Savior Menard, and just kind of get the news of what they're doing out there, and we share that with our community. And anybody that wants to check it out, we're online, and they can go see everything happening Holy Savior Menard. And with the football season coming up, we'll be starting that show here pretty soon, and we'll be letting everybody know what's going on around campus.
Look, it is a lot of fun to watch on there too. And we'd like to remind anybody that's watching tonight, they can go in and type in a comment and it'll pop up in here. So if you got a question for Coach Perkins, you can just type that in. If you got a comment about anything that we say, if you've got anything that you like, comment on that. If you hear something that you don't like, just scroll on and just keep going. That's the way we look at it.
Hey, I'll keep those comments nice now. Let's go.
That's exactly right. So speaking of nice, before we get started, tell me about that wall that's sitting there behind you. I've done a lot of interviews starting this preseason, but I've not ever seen a wall like that. Tell me something about that.
Okay, we talked about this off camera. My wife, who we call Mama P, Sabrina, and my son Zachary do a lot of things for Holy Savior Menard, especially for my football program. And she had the idea to redo my office. I did all the kind of the manual labor as far as doing all the painting and things like that. My son and I, but she had an idea in her head to exactly what she wanted to do, and I didn't really know what it was, but I got all the stuff, or she got all the stuff. We came up here like just a couple days ago, like 2 days ago, and she started putting it all on the walls and all around, and all I just said was just, wow, man. It's exactly what I would be looking for as a coach. And people have come in and looked at it, and they like it. So shout out to Mama P. She's in Houston tonight. Great job. Everybody loves it. And you're welcome to come check it out. They used to call my office the museum. I had so much stuff in here, memorabilia and all that, but I kind of said, let's go a little more professional, clean look. And this is how it turned out. And man, great job, Sabrina Perkins. Thank you.
Look, and our very first comment of the night, you saw it pop up again. We'll post that again, and there she is with the comment on there. Great profile picture that's there as well. So it's Menard Eagle Night. We're previewing the 2024 season. So if you've got a question or a comment on there for Coach Perkins, for us, just let us know. Just drop it down in the comments as well on there. Coach, take me through last season. It was a district championship year for you guys. And it was one of those things. It was just a special year. So walk us through 2023 before we move on.
Really was a magical season. I was named head coach last year in January. Took over the program, but had a a head start on things, being at Menard for a long time, knowing the athletes and things like that. So I already had an idea of what we wanted to do, the coaches and I. But yeah, we went into last season, hadn't done well the previous 3 or 4 years, hadn't won a district championship, I think, in like 13 years. So,
right.
We went in, had a really great group of senior guys, some that I could go in. And even though we changed a lot of things, we knew because they were older and that they were able to just take in a lot of stuff, put guys in different positions and positions that they hadn't played before. And not just the seniors, some of the juniors and sophomores, got to play. And we got them in the positions that we thought would give us to make us successful. Like I said, Cooper Scott was one of our best players, MVP of the district, an all-state Mike linebacker. Man, it's hard to have guys like that. Drake Aldridge, Gavin Hilton. And I could go on. We just had a great group of senior guys to go along with the guys we got coming back. And we got off to a little rocky start, but then went on a little run there and got in district. And we went undefeated in district, had some great games with some great teams. And, was able to pull the district championship out, something we've been looking to do for a long, long time. And we were looking to have a home playoff game. Getting in the playoffs is great, but we were trying to get a home playoff game. We accomplished that, got a home playoff win, and then, we eventually lost to the eventual state champions. And a great season, but that season's over, and we're going to be getting ready for the 2024 season.
You talk about that season before we get into, and there's a couple of comments that have been making it in. Scott Simpson says, "Go Eagles." Bree Perkins said the offense is looking great. So getting a lot of comments coming in on that. I look back at everything, went back through it, watched some of the games from last year. When district rolled around, it looks like some sort of switch flipped on that defense because you guys were not allowing many points at all when it got to district play.
Yeah, we had a great defense last year, and most of the seniors were on that defense, and we coached them up during the season as we were preparing ourselves for the district schedule. The things that we were doing the first 5 games or the first, the non-district schedule, we were experimenting a little bit with things. Like I said, we were putting guys in different positions, even at the quarterback and the running back positions. We were putting different guys in there that hadn't played there in their high school careers. So it took a while, and it took a lot of practice to get all that down. And by the time we got to district, now the defense was playing well just about the whole year, but by the time we got to district, we did kind of turn the light on and say, look, guys, the goals are all in front of us. If you want to do this, this is what's got to have to happen. We're going to rely on our defense. We do that and have done that for years here at Menard. We like to play tough physical defense. We like to play, I'll be honest with you, probably low scoring games. We're gonna try to control the clock, keep the other offenses off the field. And that's how kind of we operate. We like to put our best players on defense, and it's been a formula that's worked here for us at Holy Savior Menard, and we're just going to continue to do that. And and we'll continue to evaluate these kids. They are young. We've let them know that all the positions are open, and we got a good core of guys, and I think we got a lot to work with, and we'll get after it Monday.
You talk about grinding the clock out. That was one of the things that our group of broadcasters in the crews that we covered on there. Tom would text us the game was final, and we were getting to halftime in the Ash game as the clock would not run as much as that. But it was a great formula led by a lot of great guys. You talked about Aldridge, you talked about Cooper Scott, and those guys that kind of pushed that tradition at Menard. And I want to ask you about that. Tell me a little bit about the tradition that is Holy Savior Menard.
Yeah, and I'm an alumni of Holy Savior Menard, So and I grew up in this community. My brother also.
Now, real quick, that jacket that's behind you is that's your jacket, right?
That one is mine, and this one is my brother's right there.
There you go.
He's a little older than me. He passed away a few years ago. That's kind of like a tribute I had for him. But yeah, we both played here, so I just
decided
to put those.
Does it still fit?
Mine's a little bit tight. Mine's a little tight. So I was a little
Well,
smaller in high school.
this humidity shrinks them.
It
So
does shrink them, but that's why my
so
wife
but
put it in the box. But
that's right. So you're alumni in that tradition. So go ahead.
absolutely. So, and Menard's always been built on defense, and obviously we've had great offensive players, but we like to just still play. And I'm an old guy. We still like to play that old style type of football. Kind of quirky little sets and offenses, and we play against teams like that. And a lot of the teams nowadays, especially the bigger 5As, 4As, they got the personnel. They're going to spread it out. They got the athletes, and they can do all that stuff. And that's a fun style of football to watch. It really is. The pros are doing it, college is doing it. But here at Holy Savior Menard, we look at our personnel, and then we put our personnel and then the offense and the defenses that we think is going to fit them. And I think that's the offense and defenses that do fit them. They're a little physical type. They all it's got to be a definite team concept, because we just don't have athletes running all over. We got good athletes, but we just don't have them, that where they can mess up and then make up for it. They got to be in the right place, especially on defense. And I think we do that well. We line them up well. We prepare them well. We're a college prep school. I say that because these guys are really smart and they're able to take in a whole lot of information, and that's one advantage that I think we do have is we're able to give them guys a whole lot of information, and we're able to just mix our defenses up and do different things, and just kind of predicate what we're doing on defense depends on what the offense is trying to do on a particular play, man. And that's just how we play. And we just want to get to the ball, all of us. And when we get there, we want to make an impact.
How does that
Literally.
tempo? How does that? I mean, and you guys do that without a doubt. Some of the hardest hitting games that we've seen. How does the limited numbers that you have kind of work into that? We're going to slow it down some because you've got some guys that are playing both sides of the ball, and if you're going up tempo, it's a big chance you wear those guys out.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I have to let me give a kudos out real quick to my strength and conditioning guy, Don Fields. He goes and works those guys out, and he's here during the whole season. But during this workout season during the summer, we take what you just said into consideration, that I've got a core of guys that's going to have to play both ways and special teams. When they come off the field, they're only coming off the field for just a short period of time, and as the season gets a little bit older, those guys will play more and more both ways, and that's why I keep harping to these guys, like the cream comes to the top, and those guys that are at the top are the guys that we have to go with, so it's important that they're listening and they're intuitive about what we're trying to get accomplished and the scheme that we're trying to get accomplished. So, that was a great point, Doug, because yes, first of all, they're going to have to be in great shape. And in the first month of the season in September, it's basically just like August. It is hot, and
It's
you got to
brutal.
keep those
Yeah.
guys hydrated. So, we got to have a little bit of backups for those games, and it is non-district games. But when we get forward after that, man, that good core group of guys have got to be able to go most of the game, and they've got to be in shape. But early in the season, we do have to watch it and be careful. Because we
Absolutely.
do
And
not
look,
want to get them hurt, in a situation where they need to be kind of hydrating or be off the field for a few plays and they're on the field and they get hurt. So we can't allow that to happen.
Look, and football's a brutal sport, so there's going to have they're going to have those nicks and bruises throughout the season. So the better that they are conditioned for it, and anybody that works with Don Fields, I mean, what kind of shape and condition they're going to be in without a doubt. So moving into next season, this season, 2024. Who are some of the Eagles that we're going to look forward to calling their names and hearing Tom Boucher when he hollers touchdown Eagles? Who are we going to hear?
Well, okay. Well, let's talk about some of our new personnel. And these guys are going to be, they got to play a little bit last year, but these guys are going to be new to the community. Their name hasn't been called out a lot. So if we're going to be successful, we're going to have to hear these names a whole lot. So on offense, our quarterback is going to be Jake Vaughn. He came in last year about mid-season and was able to come in and be successful. And he kind of shared time with one of the seniors that we were putting in with Gavin Hilton when he came in later in the season. So he got some great and valuable experience. And right there beside him at running back is going to be Aiden Moran. And he got a lot of playing time last year as a sophomore, and that's going to go a long way. And so we're dependent on those two guys. for sure, a whole lot. But then, of course, the offensive line is very important in the scheme that we try to run, because we are trying to run the ball, and we're going to throw it, but we're going to try to run the ball. And like I said, we're going to try to run the clock a little bit. So Jack Roy is a senior coming back, he's going to be anchoring that line. He's been a starter for a while, and he's going to help us a lot. And then we're going to have some young guys after that that are going to have to come play. We've got Lane Evans. He's a player that's going to have to step up. We've got Ben Good and Asher Davis. Both of those guys are going to be seniors. Both of those guys have been starting on the defensive line. And like I told you a little bit earlier, we're going to have our best guys in the game. So, we're going to coach them two guys up to do a little bit on offense also. And then also we've got other offensive guys that we're going to have to try to depend on. We're going to have Cade Tassan. He's another guy that hasn't got to be able to play in much. And he's going to have to step it up this year. And as far as some skill guys now, Matthew Hicks, who is the brother of Ryan Hicks, who y'all said a lot last year because he was our all-state kicker. Yep. Matthew is one of our athletes, so we're going to have to get him the ball. Cutter Knowles, he's going to be another guy you're going to hear a lot of on offense. We're going to depend a lot on Sam Bracata. He was a freshman last year that actually started most of the games, and he'll be starting on defense. He'll be our Mike linebacker, but he'll also be a little bit at the running back, and so we're looking for great things out of him. Also, we have another senior, Carson Harrison, who played a lot of corner last year, and he'll probably be moving over to the free safety this year. Jordan Rich, another senior, he plays wide out. He'll be out there. He'll be helping us. And, and then there's some other guys that we'll be dependent on that are like freshmen. And I've got one freshman that's got a good chance to start, and that's his name is Austin Parra, and we'll see about him. And, the sophomores I got Carson Albanian, who didn't get to play much last year, but probably could have played a little bit, but obviously we had a senior-laden team. He'll be on the offensive line. Wyatt Hayward is going to be another, I think, a good player on defense. He's our strong safety. He's one of our most physical guys. Jack Simpson. That's the dudes that we're going to be dependent on. Hopefully you're going to hear Jake Vaughn and Aiden Moran's name called a lot. We're going to try to depend on those guys a lot and see what happens. If we're running the ball, we're going to run it. And if they're stopping us and they're putting a whole lot of guys in the box and just trying to stop the run, which people try to do against us, Jake and Coach Ortiz, who's the offensive coordinator, Coach Morgan Redmond, who also is in that mix, know that we've got to be able to throw the ball, and especially against the top tier teams. When we get toward playing for district championships and get in the playoffs, we're going to have to be more than just a running team. We're going to have to throw the ball a little bit. So, and Jake's a good running quarterback. He's a dual threat guy, and that's always a good thing. We have a freshman quarterback coming here, and we're looking for big things out of him. His name is Aiden Birch. He's a freshman, and he's already about 6'4", about 210, 215.
Well,
so,
they call that prototypical.
Prototypical. We don't get that a lot at Holy Savior Menard, but he's been out here practicing with us and working out, and I think he's going to be a good player. So I think things are bright on the horizon for Holy Savior Menard, and looking for a great year.
Well, we're excited about it. Also, let's look through your early season schedule. You're taking part in that jamboree over at Tioga. A little bit of a different animal this year because there's a lot of teams in there. You'll just play your one game. But how important is it to be a part of something like that?
I talked to Coach Cook last year about it. We had a little jamboree last year, but I wanted to kind of go somewhere else. Talked to Coach Cook, said he needed a couple teams, so we decided that we just go over there. I think we'll be playing Tioga and Winfield, and everything stays the same. Two good teams to get ready for the season, man. I mean, Tioga is one of the best teams here in Cenla, and not just Cenla, but one of the best teams in the state. It's a 4A team or Division I team. They play in that top division. Coach Cook always does a great job, him and Coach Book and those guys over there. So, going against those guys will help us a little bit. And then also Winfield, they got a good program, and we'll play each of them, I think, a quarter, so half a game. And, and then we'll get ready for our opening game against Northwood. And we also have a scrimmage the week before that jamboree against Rose Pine, and that is here at Holy Savior Menard, and that'll get us a little bit ready for that jamboree. So we're looking forward to that jamboree.
Rose Pine's always going to be a good game. I mean, they've got great tradition up there. But how important just the community seeing a Tioga and a Menard play each other. When these local teams are playing each other, man, that makes for great football because these kids all grew up together.
Well, it is, and obviously football is a business, right? So when these Cenlaw teams play each other, they draw great crowds, because they
Mhm.
all have great tradition and a great following. So when we're able to play each other, we're able to reap the benefits. But also, it's great for our community. It's a talking point. It's bragging rights. It's all those type things. And so it's always fun to play those games about with those teams in your own town.
Indeed, it is. Oh, you brought up a word tradition, and I want to talk about that just a little bit. Every every event that we cover, and we're out at Menard a lot covering some things, and it's
Yes, sir.
it's because it is steeped in tradition. You see those folks line up in the back end zone. I guess as you're looking at the field to the left. They're all lined up over there. You've got great crowds that come out to the coaches' shows, the baseball. All of the guys are cooking over there. It's just family out at Menard, it seems like.
Yeah, and it's a fun event. It's almost like a backyard barbecue, guys. It's football and baseball and softball. Always got great dads who are always cooking something, they're showing up and just hanging out. They like to hang out, talk about what's going on in their lives, talk about the old days, talk about the times that maybe they went to Menard, what was going on and how they played. And, a lot of the times, I was an alum of the biggest class in the history of Menard. I graduated in 1980, and everybody can figure out how old I am. That was the biggest class in the history of Menard. So a lot of those guys are always, implying about how the team's doing and all those type things. They like to come and see how things are done now compared to the way they were whenever they were here and see how things have changed. Because whenever I was at Menard, we didn't have our own home field. We actually played at Bolton. That was our home field, and later it became Ash. So they come out here and we've got great facilities and everything just looks good. We've got the tennis courts back here, the baseball field, the softball field, and football field are all behind the school. And and it just looks good and looks great, and all those people come out, they support us, and they like coming out and supporting us because it's a family event, and they just like coming. Their kids are cheering, their kids are on dance line, their kids are in the drum corps, they're all showing up. I got a group of kids that say, Coach, can we work the concession stand? They love getting in there and working the concession stand and just hanging out and being with their friends, man. And that's what it's all about.
Yes, you can.
And that just makes me happy that they all can come and have fun and just enjoy themselves and enjoy a football game.
Well, and you see that a lot. I mean, in all the different sports, basketball, baseball had a tremendous run last year. Your swim team did good. I mean, it's not just one sport. It's such a well-rounded school.
Absolutely. Looking back at the athletics, we always do that when we get done with baseball, which is always last. And what a great season it was as far as athletics go at Holy Savior Menard, including 2 state championships, one in indoor girls track, one in outdoor girls track. Great job by Coach Morgan Redmond in doing that. But the baseball team made another run, went to the state championship last year, made it to the semifinals. Lost by 1 run in the semis this year. Was at Sulphur. Also, the girls softball team was 1 hit away from making it to Sulphur against a great team. And football, did what we did. Girls basketball was in the Final Four. Swim had a great run. Had state competitors. Also cross country. Also had a top 10 guy finish. Had a guy finish number 9, Austin Sieberniker. And and even the Holy Rollers, the bowling team, had a couple guys that went to state in that. And it's just a great season for us. Tennis had a great season, and we sent half that team or maybe more to the state championships, and then winding it down with golf. Also had a guy go to state championships in that. So man, just a greatly rounded athletic program with guys, who are able to be great swimmers to guys who are able to run, the 3,200 meters, so it's great. We got great talent here at Holy Savior Menard, boys and girls. So great
It
student
it
athletes.
Indeed, you do. So, Brown Bear 765 is watching, says hello from Virginia. What are you most excited for with this year's football season? Is the question. So, Coach, we'll let you take that one.
We got a young team, so it's going to be interesting to see how these guys respond on a Friday night. Kind of got a good idea. That's why you play JV games when they're younger. You kind of see the intensity they have and the ability they have to be able to learn on the run and on the move and be able to make adjustments quickly, and the coaches take all that stuff into consideration. So when we try to do all those things, we want to see how these kids respond, and that's going to be a good thing to look at and just see how they respond to being a starter or being a backup that's going to get a lot of minutes. And that's always an interesting thing to the coaches when you got new guys that are coming in, and you're going to always be having to evaluate them and shuffle them. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
Well, we appreciate the question all the way from Virginia. And if you have a question tonight, we're going to wrap it up tonight. But look, join us all throughout the season when we'll be here for the Eagles Nest Coaches Show. Coach, the Pelican Sports Report will kick things off Saturday mornings from 9 to 11. And we hope to visit with you on Saturday mornings this same way about your game the night before and just what's going on.
Absolutely. Anytime you guys need me or want to interview, I'm available. I'm always happy to talk anything Holy Savior Menard, and we appreciate what you guys do.
Well, thank you, Coach. We'll let you get out of here again, Miss Perkins. Fantastic job on the wall back
Yeah.
there. I know she's watching. She did a great job. I'll go back to one of the comments that Amy Grimes had. It says, "Love Coach Perkins. Eagle Energy. It's contagious," and that's looks like a new hashtag. It's Eagle Energy.
Always had a lot of energy. You got to have a lot of energy to kind of do this job. It's exciting to be around these student athletes, man, and they keep me young and they keep me going, and that's why I'm here, and that's why I do what I do. I do it for God, and I do it for these student athletes, and go Eagles, baby.
There you have it, Coach David Perkins. Always an exciting time. That's going to wrap up tonight's Pelican Sports Report. We thank you for joining us, and tune in tomorrow night when we continue our preview of District 25A. We'll be back tomorrow night. See you then.
Go Eagles.